So, hello everyone. Welcome back. My name is Kennedy, and I'll be a tutor today. And in today's lesson, we're going to look at things you're supposed to do before and right in the interview. I know we have all maybe been at that situation whereby you have been called for an interview, or maybe you want to prepare for an interview. What rings in our mind is what are some of those things that you're supposed to do right before you attend an interview and right in the interview. So in today's session, we're going to divide the two aspects into two. We're going to look at the things you're supposed to do first before, and then in the next section, we're going to look at things you're supposed to do right in the interview, or what we normally refer to as during the interview. So number one, the very first thing you're supposed to do is supposed to research on the company or the institution. What this means is you're supposed to go maybe to your Google, look out at the company or the institution. Maybe check on things like the founder, check on things like the objectives, the visions. Now check things about maybe about the company, about the current manager, the current administration, how currently they are faring, and this will give you a great and deep knowledge about the company. And when you go in the during the interview, you will be able to answer questions that will be asked pertaining the company or the institution. Again, in this section, when you research on the company, number one, you'll be able to know the exact location. You'll also be able to know maybe the means of transport that you're going to use to go to take you to the place. So number two, the next thing is supposed to research on the interviewer. Generally, this helps you give you a background about the person who is going to interview you, and this plays a very major role during the interview. Because number one, when you research about your interviewer or the person who is going to ask you questions, maybe nowadays our world is global, it is interconnected. Maybe there is an interview that he had conducted earlier, and you can know the nature of that person. You can maybe predict the nature of questions he or she is going to ask you. Point number three, supposed to prepare a set of questions. Before you go for an interview, have that interview in your mind. What this helps you is you're able to predict or maybe assume or maybe do assumption of a set of questions that maybe the interviewer may ask you. In this place or at this point is where you put yourself in the position of the interviewer. I know it's not good to assume, but you can do due diligence about the company, as we had mentioned earlier. And this helps you if you're going for an interview for the position of a manager. Ask yourself, if you're the person who is going to interview the interviewees, what kind of questions would you ask them? If it's a position of maybe an accountant, suppose you're the interviewee, you want to look for the best candidate for accountant position. What are some of the questions you ask them? So with this, you can prepare your own set of questions, and these may turn out positive, that when you go to the interview, you may be surprised. There may be the same set of questions. Also, sometimes you can go to the internet, Google some of the relevant or the common questions asked during an interview for that specific position you're applying for. Okay. The next point is supposed to conduct a mock interview. What this happens is you can either choose to conduct a mock interview in front of a friend, a family member, or maybe a mirror. This helps you boost your morale. Same times you become more confident. This goes hand in hand with the previous point where we have said you prepare a set of questions. And actually, during this point of conducting a mock interview, you can even dress. Assume you are dressed for that occasion. Practice on your sitting posture. Practice on how you shall articulate certain words. Practice on how you shall answer certain questions. Okay, maybe you can also maybe assume that you actually imagine that you're in the physical interview, and that is what we're referring to as conduct a mock interview. Okay, then the next point is, you all know that during when you're going for an interview, you're supposed to have a set of your documents, maybe your testimonies, your certificates, your school credentials, and everything. So before an interview, maybe a day or two before, you're supposed to print out physical copies of your documents. Doesn't matter that they required you to send soft copies. No, during an interview, they'll ask you for the physical copies. So, and at this point, once you print out, arrange or organize your documents well for easy presentation. And in many cases, you normally advise that you print more than one set. Suppose maybe you meet a set of maybe 5 interviewers. It's always courteous, and they'll see you as a more organized person. Print a set of 5, even if the instructions or in the interviews instructions that were not mentioned. You just print them. May add your point, may add your bonus. They'll see how organized you are. Okay. Then the last point is supposed to dress for the role. All this means is prepare in advance. What are you going to wear? Then assess the nature of the interview. If the interview is calling maybe for an office role, you cannot go dressed casually. Now you're supposed to dress officially. Are you together? Then once you have done all those things, I can guarantee you that you shall be ready for that interview. Again, I can just list down the points that you are given in a glance. Number 1, you have said supposed to research on the company. Number 2, research your interviewer. Number 3, research or prepare a set of questions. Number 4, conduct a mock interview. Number 5, print out or organize your documents or your testimonies or certificates. And lastly, dress for the role. Thank you, and I hope that helps you as you prepare for interview. Our next session will be things supposed to do during and things you're not supposed to do. So we're going to look at do's and don'ts. Thank you. I've always been that teacher that is always reliable and always guarantee you that you learn English in a fun way. Thank you.